All right. So, finally here, the second installment of my knock knee correction series. I know it took me forever to get it out. The last video I made was like a year ago. But anyway, I'll link it in the description below. So if you want to go ahead and take a look at that, go ahead and come right back here. And we'll go into a little bit more of an in-depth look at what it means to get your knees, which, if they're like mine, they have a hard time coming together at the same time as your feet do. So my knees come together like so, and they overlap, which, if you know, you know. We're going to start talking about our feet today because that was something I didn't realize was a huge component to my knee valgus or knock knees. I didn't realize that I was falling in on my arches all the time. So basically my foot was coming in like this, and my knees, which are already knocked without my feet, without my arches falling in, they are already coming inward. This exaggerated it, which causes all of these muscles to tighten in a way that makes it even more difficult for your legs to straighten completely. So you got to start from your foundation and make your way up always. Come on to your mat, my dears. All right, so come to your knees. And first, this is called hero pose in yoga, by the way. Just begin to measure your breathing. Don't try and force it to go slower or faster. I know you're like, this is not what I came for. I came to get my neck, knees fixed. Sure, we'll get there. We're just taking a second to get present. Beautiful. After that, you're going to come onto your hands and you're going to curl the toes under, like so. And then you're slowly going to press back so that you're sitting on your heels, and you're going to walk your hands up onto your knees. Some of you, if you are practicing yoga a lot, or you are pretty active in stretching through your feet, this might not be that hard. But I think for a lot of you, if you are not used to this feeling, it might hurt so bad. I know the first time I did it, and I could feel the arches of my feet, and my pinky toe was like screaming. But just breathe into it. I'm going to stay here for 5 more breaths. If you need to come out of it because you're getting a foot cramp or it's just too much, that's totally fine. But go back to it. Maybe you stay for 2 breaths or 3 breaths. All right, 1 more breath together here. Beautiful. Carefully come forward on your hands, uncurl the toes, and then just lightly tap them on the ground. Awesome. Walk your knees back underneath your hips. And inhale, drop the belly, look up. So this is your cow pose if you're familiar with yoga. If not, this is just a great way to stretch through the spine. On an exhale, you curl up, but at the same time, pay attention to your feet. Your knees should be hip-width distance apart, so when you're looking back, your legs should look like so. Awesome. A couple more of those. At your own pace, we're just getting into it. Beautiful. Now, since we're low down today and we're focusing on our foundation, you're going to come onto your right hip and then down onto your right elbow. Come all the way down so you're on your side. So you're doing kind of a Cleopatra look. Love it. Now, this is in my first tutorial on how to correct your knock knees, but we're going to add it to this flow as well because everything is going to build on itself. So what's happening here is your heels are touching, feet are flexed, knees are wide. So imagine you're like a little oyster that is opening and closing. Beautiful. I was going to say something about there being a pearl in there, but I feel like my brain's already going places. Anyway, you're going to continue to open and close. So when I'm bringing my knees back towards one another, or bringing the left knee down towards the right knee, I am not lifting the heels away from one another. They're continuing to touch, like just barely. So it's not resting on it. You could rest on it if you need to, but not necessarily. All right, 3 more here. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. 1 more. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Beautiful. All right, we're going to come up, hands and knees. Beautiful. Check out the difference between the sides. Right now, you might feel a difference in your hip. Do a couple cat-cows here. So cow, your belly drops. Tops of the feet are pressed down. Look up towards the sky. Elbow creases are shining forward. Exhale. Spine goes towards the sky. Awesome. Now, I'm going to flip so I can face you. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Just come all the way down. This is my left hip. Doesn't matter which one you're doing. Just do the other one that you didn't do last time. Get into your Cleopatra. And heels together. Inhale, they come apart. Exhale, knees come together. Inhale, open. Exhale, together. Inhale, open. Exhale, together. And then 2 more on this side. Inhale, open. Exhale. Beautiful. 1 more. At your own pace. You're going to really feel it in the back of that right glute. And that's it. Awesome. Come back to your hands and knees and do a cat-cow once again. Inhale, drop the belly. Exhale, upper back body towards the sky. Great. Crawl the toes under, and you're going to walk the hands back to the knees and sit back on your heels once again. So you're doing the same thing. Maybe it doesn't feel as bad this time because you're starting to wake the body up, you're starting to feel things opening, or maybe it hurts just as much as it did last time. But challenge yourself to go a little bit deeper and a little bit further. Beautiful. Bring your hands forward. This time, you're going to walk your hands all the way forward, and you're going to flip the toes so the tops of the feet come back onto the mat, and lift the knees 1 inch up off the ground, or roughly so. Doesn't need to be exactly 1 inch. So you've got a hovering cat-cow right now. Your beautiful cat, spine towards the ceiling. And exhale. Knees come down. Curl the toes under, and then lift the tailbone towards the sky as you press the chest back towards the thighs. And pedal it out. Your first down dog. Okay, since we're focusing on our knees right now, pay attention to what's happening to your knees and feet. Are you caving in so your knees are coming together and your heels are wide? So just so you can see from my angle like this. If so, try to straighten through the legs. They're not going to be all the way straight because that's why we're here. We're working on that. But pay attention to it. Press into the outer edges of the feet and lift the toes up. Perfect. Bend through the knees. Your arches are engaged. That's why you lift your toes. 2 more breaths here. And exhale. Walk the feet forward to the center of the mat. So you're in a forward fold. Breathe here. And exhale. Let the hands fall. In your forward fold, knees are bent. Now take a look here. Your feet should be about hip width distance apart. So for those of us whose knees come together, we already are used to kind of trying to fake it when people say bring your feet together. So we're not faking it here. You want to go as wide as your outer hip bones. So it's a good wide base. Now lift those toes up and breathe here in your forward fold. Go ahead and bring your fingers underneath of the arch of your foot and just kind of work your fingers through here. This is just to remind you, if you have flat or fallen arches, flat feet, that there is a way to strengthen these muscles through here. And it's okay if it doesn't happen immediately. Be easy on yourself. And on your next inhale, slowly come up halfway. You can keep your hands on the ground like so. Flat back position. Or you can slide those palms all the way up to your hip creases and bring your elbows back. If you do that, make sure you're not walking through the knees. We're still keeping a bend. Beautiful. One more breath here. And exhale, fold forward. Here's a favorite part of this exercise. Go ahead and slide those hips back. Bring your hands forward. Utkatasana. Oh yeah, already. And you can put a block between your thighs if that will help you from caving in with your knees. But if you keep that integrity in your feet, like I showed you, by lifting the toes and setting them back down, pressing through the outer edge of the foot and in the ball joints of the foot and through the heel, you're going to feel that, and you're going to feel an even distribution of weight. If you need to come up some, it doesn't need to be an exaggerated squat or something. Yeah. Stay where you are comfortable. Breathe here. Strengthening through those outer glute muscles. You should feel as if the butt is almost spreading apart, which sounds crazy, but it's what we want. It's what we want right now. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose as you fold forward. Beautiful. Step the feet back, step the hands forward, downward facing dog. Breathe here. Remember, conscious footing, conscious through the legs. One more deep inhale here. On an exhale, look forward. Step the left foot forward. That's right, so you're coming into your lunge. Drop the back knee, the right knee's down. Top of the right foot on the ground. Bring the left hand on the inside of the left foot and begin to walk the left toes to the outer edge of the left side of the mat. Coming into a lizard variation. Beautiful. Curl the toes up behind you in the back so that you can bring the knee up off the ground or stay with the knee on the ground. And breathe here. Pressing through that outer edge of the left foot. Look forward. And maybe if you're needing even more of a stretch than that, if you're like, I don't feel anything, maybe you can come down onto your elbows. Try and keep that back straight. Breathe here. Stretching through those inner hip muscles. Opening things up so that we can realign. And if you came down onto your elbows, bring your palms back to the ground. Bring it on up and step back. Down dog. Pedal it out. At no point in this practice do you give up. At no point in this practice do you lose sight of the fact that each movement is a part of the practice. So it's not like one pose and then rest. It's every single part is a part of the practice, even a resting pose like downward facing dog. Inhale deeply, and on an exhale, step the right foot forward. Find your low lunge. Get yourself situated. Just take a second here in low lunge to kind of feel that out in the hips. And then begin to move into your lizard. So the right hand comes to the inside of the right arch of the foot. Beautiful. You're going to feel that stretch in the hip flexors. So good. Toes are kind of spilling off the mat on the right side. Now stay here, keeping that back straight so you're not curled over like this. If you're doing that, you might need to come up a little bit, and that's fine too. If you have a stack of books or a block that you want to put your hands on that can maybe lift you up off the ground and help you not collapse into this and lose your integrity, then you can do that too. No big deal. Otherwise, for those of you who want to take it a little deeper, you can come down onto your elbows and breathe here. Once again, like I said, it doesn't matter if you're all the way up here. You just want to try and keep that back straight. And the stretching is happening in those hips either way. You're going to feel it. You'll know where to meet your edge. Don't press yourself any further than that. Awesome. Plant the palms, lift the back knee, step it back, downward facing dog. Now feel what this feels like. How the both sides now should be a little bit more even with tension and release. On your next exhale, look forward and drop your knees. Down to the ground, tabletop position. Awesome. Begin to slightly pat the tops of your feet on the ground. And then curl the toes under, and yes, that's right. You're going to walk your hands back and stretch to the arches of the feet. It'll start to get easier every time you do some of these poses because your body is capable of it, depending on whether or not you have the mobility to get to this point quickly is one thing, but a lot of times we think that that's impossible for us, but it's because we're trying to go too fast. So don't worry about taking your time, sitting in a posture as long as you are able, meeting your appropriate edge, so not giving up before because your mind's going to want to give up before your body is going to give up. So just asking your body to be a part of the conversation instead of your mind shutting it down. One more breath here. And exhale, come forward. Awesome. All right. Now we're going to come onto our left side. You're going to point and flex through the toes. Make sure you don't get any cramping happening. Back into our Cleopatra. This time you're going to lift your knees lift your right knee, about what it was like when we were going into our chair pose. So about hip width distance apart. See how that is? Awesome. Now, if you have a strap or a belt or a sash or something that you'd like to tie around your thighs so that you can press up against that belt or sash, I highly suggest it because it really helps add a lot of tension because we're going to go into this outward rotation of the right foot, which is in my first video, if you remember, and we are meeting with it again, adding to this little knock-knee correction program. So I got y'all. All right, so you're lifting the right foot up, but you're trying to keep that knee where it is. So it's the shin and the foot that are moving. And that bone, that femur up here, should be staying as stationary as it can. It's going to be rotating, like so, but it's not going up. like this. Your hip bone is not moving. We're working through the bones below the hip. Because a lot of times when you've got knee issues, your hips take the brunt of the work. So we are trying to work through supporting the hips and the knees through the muscles of the whole leg. All right, one more lift. Beautiful. Set it down. Awesome. And you can roll over onto your belly. I'm going to come up onto my knees and switch sides this way, but you can just roll over and do it on the other side. Coming to the other side. Lift that knee up. Once again, like I said, putting a strap around you, and it doesn't have to be like a yoga strap. I mean, what's a yoga strap anyway? It's like a belt. So yeah, get something that's not going to pinch you, so nothing with metal on it, preferably. But, you know, even if it has it, I do it with my metal belt, it's fine. Alright, we're going to begin here. Lifting that heel towards the sky. Since I don't have a belt on my leg right now or a sash, I'm just resting my left hand on top of my left thigh, right above my left knee, and that is helping me be conscious about not lifting that femur up off of this stationary spot right here. You're going to feel it through your glute. It's going to be intense. Breathe through it. Keep going, you got this. Stay where you're at. And 2 more. 1 more. And that's it. Awesome job. Come onto your back. Hug your knees up to your chest. Wrap your hands around your shins and just kind of rock back and forth like a little pill bug. You can maybe lift your nose towards your knees, giving your back and your spine a nice massage. And you're going to slowly bring your hands to the top of the knees and allow the feet to become dead weight so they kind of hang. Perfect. You're going to feel this in the low back. You're actually going to see the low back come up a little bit off of the mat. So instead of being flush, this is flush, lower belly engaged. And now here, we're stretching through the hips. Beautiful. Rock back and forth here for a moment. This feels super good, especially if one knee tends to take a little bit, or one leg I should say, take a little bit more strain than the other. We can get really uneven in those hips. And so take a moment here to kind of freestyle, moving your hips from side to side. So you'll see I'm choosing to do this if you're familiar with yoga. We're not doing happy baby. This is a different type of kind of deep intention that we're setting in our hip bones. All right, perfect. Now we'll bring the soles of the feet together and allow the knees to fall wide. Supta Baddha Konasana. Beautiful. Now you can stay here as long as you want. You might even add some hip, they're kind of like pulses, I'd say. You lift your hips up off the ground, pressing your weight into the edges, the outer edges of the feet, and then setting the hips and butt back down. So you can do that. Or you can slowly allow the feet to reach down towards the corners of your mat as you come into your Shavasana, or your resting pose. And congratulate yourself for doing a great job and showing up for yourself, because it's awesome. And I will see you in the next installment. Be there. All right, that's it for today. Just a little one. You can do that every morning, and we're just going to build on that for the next couple weeks. And I'm so excited to hear from you guys. If you have any questions, complaints, suggestions, Let me know. All right. Bye, guys.